Hello and welcome to Sestra-Tainment. I'm Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we're coming to you today in regards to everything entertainment. So, sis, you are up first this week. What you got?
Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is on Netflix. It is a show it's called The Worst Roommate Ever.
Oh, that sounds
But
terrible.
it has, each episode is about a different horrible roommate.
Oh, okay.
So the episode that I want to talk about that had me hooked and I was trying to figure out what was going on the whole time was the episode My BFF Tried to Kill Me.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
Yes.
So not even just a roommate, a BFF.
Yeah, it was her BFF and also a roommate.
No.
So it's just basically like the drama of the roommates and how some roommates try to harm others.
Yeah.
Basically. So there's 10 episodes in total, but I think it's broken down into seasons. So you have a couple of friends that end up being, living together. And while living together, one of the friends ended up having to have back surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So she got her back surgery. And she had already had a baby. So then it was like, okay, can you help me with the baby? So like their best friend, she was like, yeah, I got you. No problem. Like,
your
you can't
baby
pick
is
him
my
up.
baby.
Yeah, you can't pick him up. So I'll go ahead and pick him up. So and then now she's like all in with the kid who's like treating her. It's like it's her child.
Mm-hmm.
And now, let me tell you the two friends' names because I got to back up. Okay, the two friends' names are Rachel and Janie. Now Janie is the one that is trying to raise the kid, and Rachel is the one that had the back surgery.
Okay.
All right. So while she's trying to recover, she's helping the kid. Now the kid does have autism.
Okay.
So he has to be doing certain things, and Janie was really helping him with that to the point where he was always wanting to be around her because she was, I guess, so good at everything with him, and then his mother was always, laying down in the bed, so not that she could really do anything with him. So, after all of this happens, she starts to get sick and she doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then, so Janie's giving her the medication, but she starts to get sick. And now she's in the hospital and her sugar has dropped to like 13.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, at all.
That's like really low.
Yeah. So she like coma low. So she's just like, I'm just so tired and I just can't stay awake and blah, 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 blah. And they're just like, okay, we got to run some tests, try to figure out why your sugars dropped so much. They couldn't figure anything out. So they were like, all right, we'll have to send you home and then go from there. And then she just kept coming back and coming back. So now people are like, okay, look. You just did your back surgery. Now, are you like hooked on these pills and now you're trying to go and get more drugs? She's like, I swear I'm not doing this to myself. She was like, I want to be with my son. She's like, and I can't. She was like, I'm either asleep or I'm just like completely
out of it. Yeah.
So now she's like, something is going on. Then what was happening was Janie was drugging her, like giving her drinks and stuff like that, and was putting drugs in it to make her go to sleep so then she could fill her with insulin.
Oh, she was giving her insulin.
Yes.
How did she get insulin?
I have no idea. Oh, the dark web.
So she was diabolical. Like she was intentionally plotting to... Did she want her son?
Yes, she wanted her son.
That's why she was going to try to kill her so she could have her son.
Well,
and take
then
her
also
on
I think there was a life insurance policy and some other stuff. So and then insulin, you can't really insulin. If I believe it's if you're trying to kill someone with insulin, there's no way for it to show up because your body
is just absorbing insulin or releasing the insulin, right? So interesting.
Yeah. So it just got pretty bad from there. So now it's a whole bunch of different things that happen. I don't want to say everything that ends up happening, but it is disgusting. It is a lot, and it's crazy.
And this is real.
And the outcome of all of this is like our justice system needs to be better than this.
Oh gosh.
Seriously, it's horrible.
Oh,
but
no.
it is a good show. It keeps you on your toes, so you can see everything that's going on. Like I watched one episode of this one when I was writing down all this stuff. I was like, oh, this is good. This is great. Talk about a podcast. It's like two best friends, but then like so part of it was like I was trying to figure out if Janie was in love with Rachel.
Oh, yeah.
Because Rachel was the introvert and never like really had any friends or anything, and then she latched on to Rachel, and Rachel took her under her wings, and now they're best friends, blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. But then Rachel, when you see her on the show, she does kind of give you this. She reminds me of like somebody that I know, but she gives you this like, how much of this is actually true kind of vibe.
So you don't know if you should trust the mother or if you should trust the friend, like what's going on, like is she trying to?
No, you absolutely.
I mean, initially,
yeah. Well, I mean, like it's so. I feel like it's more of it is more because Rachel is the one that's talking and doing all of the narration. And stuff like that. Yeah, and then they do a great job at like sketching cartoons to like do a dramatization.
Okay, so they do that for all the episodes.
I saw it on one.
Okay.
So, but yeah, but I think that was good. Whoever did that episode did a great job. Mm-hmm. But. When it came to thinking about who did it, you knew the entire time that
that her friend was doing this to her.
Like, there's no, but you just trying to figure out
how did she figure that out?
How?
Or is that part of the part you don't want to talk about? I think it was
like an investigation or something like that. Some of her dark web
stuff started coming up. Yeah,
were flagged by
cyber.
Things. Yeah. So, but that was some stuff. I mean, that lady's diabolical. Like,
wow.
I was just like, you can really do that? I'm like, oh my God, did she really do that?
And the unfortunate part is now they're showing that she did that. And if the justice system didn't do what it was supposed to do, now other people can see this.
Yes.
And think, oh, well,
absolutely.
Maybe there's not any repercussions.
Then it's like, how many people are going to go around here trying to shove insulin in somebody's body to try to
drug them to then stab them?
Yeah,
with that. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, and you know what I always think about when I see shows like this? It's like you're showing people how to do these things. This was not a thought in their mind.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you've put that thought in their mind
into people's minds who are
that housewife that's getting her tail beat by her husband. She's like, you know what? Maybe I can get my hands on some insulin. And then what's going to happen? She's going to be in prison for the rest of her life, probably, because that was a whole different situation. It's a woman and a man opposed to two women.
Yeah, but still, all of it is wrong.
It's all of it is, but it's like
so
what?
Wrong. But but you're right. It puts ideas in people's head.
Exactly.
But a lot of things on TV do that, though. Every single TV show, action show, bomb that blows up something, like whatever. It's like, oh, is that putting that?
But I mean, like, I get it. It was an idea in one person's mind, but now it's an idea in the world. Mind.
Yeah.
Everybody who has Netflix can possibly have this idea.
I mean, it's like, what is that movie that they did where it was like two strangers meet on a train and then they decide to kill each other's spouses or something like that. Like that probably put ideas in people's minds because I've seen enough Law and Orders to know.
I've seen enough Law and Orders to know
that they have done some shows on that type of situation where it's like, oh, how in the world are these two people connected? Oh, they were on this same train. They actually were in the same prison, they were in the same, sex rehab class and nobody knew because it was anonymous or whatever, so I've seen enough.
Yeah, it's just, the world is a crazy place.
Crazy place. So,
So, but that's what I had.
Okay.
That is Worst Roommate Ever on
Netflix. How many episodes is it roughly?
10 episodes.
10 episodes
total.
of different things.
But it's like different seasons. So I think like the first season might have 2 episodes, and then the second season might have 4, and then the third season,
So it's sporadic. It's not
I think they just like every year that they went to put it out. I think the first year might have been maybe 2020, so it might have.
They
been
just were like, let's just do a couple.
It's COVID. Let's do a couple,
cut it out,
and then just go from there. But but no, it's decent. I like it.
Okay, cool.
Now, what you have next, ma'am?
I have on Freeform or Hulu. Wayne Brady, the Family Remix.
Oh yeah, I saw a commercial for that.
Yeah, so it's only one episode right now that has been released that I've seen at least. And so anything that I talk about isn't really big spoilers. Well, it's some spoilers in there, but I think you can pick up on some of it even from the commercial.
Is he in a throuple with his ex-wife?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk
I want
about
to know.
it.
He's come out the closet. He's
Well,
over here with the alphabet mafia.
You're not supposed to tell that part yet. That's the whole point of the show is him coming out.
What?
Like the
He's
whole
been done come out.
He came out in real but the whole show is about him saying, I have this secret. That's how he starts the show is I have the secret because at the time, this is his journey to coming out. So he filmed it and he came out, but now they're actually showing him releasing this information to the people in his life. That's what this show is about. Like so now she spoiled it. Okay, well that's it for Wayne Brady, the family.
How is that spoiling it? This is common knowledge that he came out of the closet.
Okay, here we go. So, the show is about Wayne Brady and his family. It's a reality series. It is not just about him, though. It's about his daughter, Miley, and his ex-wife / best friend / business partner, Mandy, and her life partner, because they're not boyfriend, girlfriend, they're not husband, wife, they are life partners. And Mandy is now with Jason Michael Fordham. So Jason and Mandy are a relationship. Mandy and Wayne are partners, business partners, exes, and have the kid Miley together, right? And they are a family unit, meaning that they all love each other, hang out with each other. They call each other the core four. Mm-hmm. And so they do everything together. They just all of that. So he is saying that a lot of people don't understand the relationship, and his ex-wife agrees. People don't get it. And honestly, if I were to, be truthful, if Wayne didn't accept Jason, because he didn't at first. Mm-hmm. If he didn't accept Jason and I probably wouldn't be together, because my relationship with Wayne means more to me than anything else. Mm-hmm. So they are still very much like.
So it sounds like she still loves him.
No, it's like this weird, I get it, because, for me, I'm like a non-traditional type relationship person. Yeah. I don't need to be around my person 24/7. Yeah. I'm not going to be jealous of my person being around other people, that kind of thing. So that's where I can kind of get the concept of this. It's basically saying, look, we were together. We didn't work together as a couple, but we're so intermingled and intertwined with business and choreography and my shows and whatever. We are best friends. I want the best for you. You want the best for me. Yeah. Now, Wayne sounded actually more jealous initially, because when Jason and Mandy started dating, it was like, wait, who is this? Why is he in here? Why is my daughter trying to get friendly with him? I don't like this. But that goes into his own ego, because he said Jason was his backup dancer. Okay. So he's like, me and Jason were cool. Now you're starting to date my ex. That's not cool. I am not feeling this, kind of situation. But it's like, if you have your partner who's a part of all of your dancing and interaction and engagement, and then, oh, by the way, she's sitting here on stage with him, they're interacting, they're having a good time, whatever, then it's likely that there could be some connections that could be formed, right? Mm-hmm. Exactly. So Jason tells the story because the daughter asked, and she was like, how did y'all really get together? And then Wayne's like, I don't need to know this part, even though they're all really cool and friends and everything now, it's like a bromance thing, as well as their relationship, and then the daughter, and everybody's like all kumbaya, Okay. And so what ended up happening is Jason said, well, she went on this date with this doctor, plastic surgeon, and she said it was the most boring date ever. She said he barely fed me anything. It was like a teeny little plate of stuff that was like a really expensive meal. But those frou-frou restaurants give you a little bit of food. She's like, this ain't me. And she was like, oh my God. So she was confiding in Jason about it. And he was like, you want to go to In-N-Out or Whataburger or whatever. Mm-hmm. They just went to some burger spot in the middle of the night or whatever. And she was like, that was when I knew he could be my person, kind of scenario, because it's like, let's just keep it real. Let's not try to do all this frou-frou stuff. So anyway, so now they are truly this unit. They sometimes all live together. or have, I guess I would say, lived together. Right now, Wayne Brady has his spot, and then his daughter is like in a studio apartment that's like attached to his spot. That must be like a Hollywood thing where everybody has like a guest house, a pool house, or some spot where people can stay.
Or you have good money.
Yeah, you have this extra little spot.
Yeah, because you might have people that come over and you'd be like, yeah,
stay out of my house.
Stay over there.
Go over there.
I don't want you going through my stuff because then you're going to find out my pride flags.
Oh my goodness. Or whatever it is. Yeah, exactly. Whatever it is. So, so anyway, what he does is he's, on the show, he's already confided by the time they start all this recording, he's already confided in his daughter, Mindy, and Jason that he's pansexual. So he is a part of the LGBTQI, as you say, community. And so based on that, he's like, all right, I don't know how this is going to impact my life, my livelihood, my career. I'm on these shows. Sometimes I'm the only minority on these shows. Now I'll be the only gay minority on these shows. Like, pan, because he doesn't want to call himself gay, because he's like, I'm attracted to the human. Like, right? For anybody who's listening who doesn't know what pan is, you're attracted to the person. So he said they could be a man, it could be a woman, it could be a transgender person, a them, that, like, it doesn't matter to him. He's like, I'm just attracted to.
Yeah, so he's intrigued by the brain.
By the person, right? Yeah. Whatever. So he said, I've been attracted to men, I've been attracted to women. Now, for me personally, none of this is surprising to me because
Absolutely not. I knew that on Whose Line Was It Anyway?
I just assumed that he was, if not, but I didn't even know he had a daughter. So I just assumed he was gay. I didn't even know he was bisexual or pan or anything like that. So therefore I was like, oh, okay, is this news? Like even to the point that, like you said, you already knew that he came out as being, pan. And I'm like, if I knew it, I forgot it because it wasn't even a thing for me because it was like I didn't think anything otherwise anyway.
To do of it, and I was like, didn't everybody in the world know?
I already know that. Like anyway,
I don't understand how nobody knew.
I don't know either. So long story short, so now he's like, there's different people in my life that I need to make aware. Other extended family members. Are people going to treat me different? But I'm ready to live my truth because. And the other thing that he stated, and I don't know if this is why he quote unquote stayed in the closet so long, is because his grandmother who raised him passed away last year.
Oh yeah, so that's probably.
So I think it was that he was like, look, I can't have her know this about me. So therefore, after she passed away, now he's like, I want my love. I see you, Mandy and Jason together, and I want that for myself. I want to be able to show up on a red carpet with a man or a woman or whoever and not feel like I have to, hide who I am as a person. So I get that. And I appreciate that he's willing to do all of this on camera. So there are two gentlemen that he brings. This is all first episode. So he's, because there's only been one episode so far. So he brings these two gentlemen over who he said, hey, I met these guys, they're brothers, they've been incarcerated, they're now out of prison, they have like a podcast and a clothing line, like they do all this stuff, right? And so he's like, I really appreciate and value their opinion, so I kind of want to start with telling them to see if the straight Black community might potentially, because they're like dudes, so let me start with them because they're really good friends of mine. So he invites them over. He has them to come to dinner. And he's like, well, afterwards they were like, look, fed us. Like, what's up? Like, what do you want us to know? Like, why are we here? And he was like, well, I just want to tell you I'm pansexual, whatever. And the one of the brothers was like, I ain't got no idea what that means. Like, what are you talking about? And then the other brother was like, you love you love human beings. That's what he said. You just love human beings. And he was like, oh, you love human beings? Oh, okay, great. Yeah, fine, whatever. Like, they were like,
bro, we already knew. We just was
they didn't say that on. They did not say that on national TV. But they were just like, okay, well, that's pretty, interesting. Look, you be you. Like, we are people who got out of prison. We had nothing, and we are building our brand and a business and all of that. And people could judge us. So who would we be to try to judge somebody else? So they were like, like that's not going to happen, man. You're our brother, no matter what. Like, so that was really good. And he said that gave him a little bit more, confidence to be able to come out and do what he needed to do.
Because the people that care about him the most and that he cares about the most agree with like his lifestyle. So therefore he feels more comfortable because he ain't worried about nobody else.
And the funny thing is even in those conversations, Mandy's sitting there, Jason's sitting there. His daughter left, and his daughter had a friend who was at the house too, and they both left, but they were sitting there, and Mandy's like tearing up because she's like, oh my gosh, this is so great that he's, getting, like, that's how much they care about each other, as a whole. So then it gets into, well, I have another secret. And they're like, what's the other secret? And he was like, well, well, I have a child. And they were like, yeah, we know. She just left. And they're like, another child. And they were like, what? Now that blew their mind.
Oh, okay.
They were just like, wait, what? Like, what's happening? What's going on? Like, you got a kid? Like, because they may have thought you're gay, so therefore maybe they are surprised about paying. Maybe they're just like, oh, I thought you were gay, so therefore now you have a kid. Like, who was the surrogate? Whatever. No, he had a girlfriend. So during COVID, he had a girlfriend, and the two of them were on again, off again, toxic, not good for each other, the whole 9 yards. But he said that one time something happened, like he was after his grandmother passed away. He ends up like going to her, and they end up having a little co-mingling. And the next thing you know, because she showed up at the funeral and all that kind of stuff. And so the next thing you know, she's 2 weeks later, she's like, I'm pregnant. And so they're like, wait, what? Yeah. So he ends up having to tell Mandy back then that, hey, she's pregnant and, whatever. And so, he is like a 8-month-old or something right now. So he was telling the guys that, and they were like, whoa, wait a minute, hold up, what's going on? He's showing pictures and stuff, and that's kind of how the first episode ends. Is him showing these guys, the pictures of his baby child, and he's like, but this is hard because I'm now trying to discover this new part of myself. Then I'm also, or at least more exploring it publicly part of myself. Now I have to be a parent to an infant who is with another parent that we don't always see eye to eye. We argue a lot. So how do I navigate that? His daughter, she's funny. She reminds me of Stormy, whatever her name is from Euphoria. And she was on Missing with Nia Long and all of that. So she looks so much like her that I actually had to do a double take and be like, wait a minute. She's
just a little lighter than
but she's so hilarious. So she was like, I don't like her. I don't like her. I don't want to be around her. I don't want to talk to her. She's shady. She's this. She's that. She's not good for my dad. She did it on purpose. She wanted to get pregnant. Like, she's trying to trap him. Like, I don't want no parts. Like, whatever. And Wayne's like, but it's your baby brother, too. So you need to, like, maybe hang out with your brother kind of thing. And so she's like, but she is hilarious. So she is someone who she's like, I'm the worst Nepo kid ever. When you think about nepotism, I have a mom, choreographer. I have a dad who's Wayne Brady, and y'all don't even know who I am. She was like, I am the worst. Like, I should be using all that to my advantage. And I'm like, their money, yes. But their publicity, no. So she's like spoiled in a way because she's like, so Dad, I'm going to need an apartment for my junior year of college because she's going, I forgot which school she's going to. And he's just like, you stay on campus. That's what the whole college experience is about. And she was like, no, juniors don't stay on campus. They go off campus. And he was like, so you're moving into the studio at my house then? You're not like an apartment? Like, really? And she was like, but just think of all of our ancestors. She's like, just imagine our ancestors knowing that you make enough money that you could pay for your daughter to have an apartment off campus.
I love that.
To be able to, whatever. And he was like, let me show you the studio apartment. So he shows her the studio that's packed with all his junk, and she's like, oh my God. So anyway, but she's so funny. So I'm feeling like she's gonna steal the show.
They probably still have her grounded where she's not. Like I'm pretty sure they're not gonna do the Nepo things. Like, no, we worked hard to get where we are.
She doesn't want it because he is like, I try to use some of my connections because she's a singer, she's a dancer, she's a choreographer. She does all her. She's like very artistic. I had never seen her before, so I don't know what she did, but I know that she does all of those things. And he is just like, I mean, I don't know if he isn't pushing it, but he's just like, she's a mini me. She's into it all. She does everything. She's a triple threat. Like, she can do everything. And acts. She acted on General Hospital. Then, she's done all these things. That's what she
grew up seeing because her father is the main person and the mother was the manager for him. So that's all she saw was that. That's
exactly. And so, but she's just like, but I don't want to be on their, like, I don't want to ride on their coattails. I want to earn it for myself. So she's like, I might want them to pay my apartment and a car and stuff, but I want to be able to make my career on my own. So she now has a music video coming out. So that's a part of the new season is doing that. And then, oh, by the way, she's like adulting now and they are helicopter parents. So she said, oh, my parents are like she said she's still in college junior, has a 12:30 curfew. Oh, wow. Like she's like, they are. And then she was like, so she had said something on there and she was talking to one of her friends and she was like, so one of my songs is about me like having sex with my boyfriend during COVID and sneaking him in the house and all that. And she was like, my parents haven't heard that song yet. And it's like, different things that it's like, how do I play like, oh no, it's just a song. Like it's not my life. It's not what actually happened. That
reminds me of Betty Wright.
Right. I know you're not going to that sound.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a really cute show. Like I've started to watch it just to say, number one, I'm not a huge Wade and Brady fan. Like I'm not. Yeah. I mean, not from Whose Line Is It Anyway, not from Deal or No Deal. Like I'm just not a huge fan of his. But I was like, let me see. The commercial looked the trailer good enough that I was like, well, let me just see what this is about, because I didn't know enough about that family dynamic with him and Jason and Mandy and Miley. Mm-hmm. So I was like, let me just see what that is about. And then once I saw that, and you kind of see how they've worked through him being so jealous of Jason initially, to then being like, he said what happened is his daughter sent, again, all this is in the first episode, his daughter sent him a video of some parents who were saying how blessed they were that their child had another parent in their life who was good to them and kind to them and that they cared about them and do all of that. And he said he just bawled because he was like, I was making this about me. I have to make this about my daughter and her experience and not making her feel bad or guilty about this other person in her life. And so he said once he put that together, he was like, okay, we're a unit. Like we are raising her all together kind of scenario. And Jason just seems really chill and laid back. Like, I don't know if he's still dancing. I don't know if he's just living off their lifestyle. Like, I'm trying to figure Jason out still. But I mean, if he makes everybody happy,
he's along for the ride.
Then maybe they're okay with that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He might be a stay-at-home dad.
You never know.
A stay-at-home bonus parent.
Exactly. So, but yeah, so it's an interesting show. So again, it's Wayne Brady, the family remix on Freeform or on Hulu. And I think they even maybe said it was on Prime. I can't remember, but I actually watched it on Hulu. So, all right, what do you have next?
Okay, so I want to go into these hot topics. The main one that I want to go into is Biden has dropped out of the race and Kamala is now up for president.
Yes.
Does she have anybody running against her?
What do you mean?
No,
you don't do that. I guess here's the thing. You have the Democratic National Committee that's coming up, or convention coming up. And so during the DNC, she has to get all of this, like the Shirley movie. Did you ever watch it?
Chisholm.
Yeah, the Shirley Chisholm movie where you had to have enough delegates in order for you to be the person. So they still have to go through that formal process of ensuring that she has enough delegates and they could potentially put someone else up as the nominee with her to see if they get more delegates or anything. But right now, based on the momentum of the money that she's
that's what I was going to go into.
See, I'm going to take your thunder. Anyway, I'm just joking.
Help me.
No, but the money that she has been raising, it probably will continue to be her. So we shall see. But go ahead.
That was the thing. She broke records with the amount of money that she ended up getting for the first 24 hours. And I think it was like somewhere between $80 and $100 million.
Yeah, I feel like the first 24 was between 50 and 80. And then after that, it's continuously gone up.
So, that is basically already she's making history. There is a lot of things that have been coming up. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I just looked it up and it said Kamala Harris campaign has raised now $126 million. And that was just posted 7 minutes ago from USA Today. So $126 million. So people are
the AKAs came through for her.
What did they do?
They all got together and then did like Zoom calls.
They
called. They didn't have enough capacity.
They said it was 40,000 people who were trying to get on those calls.
They had to end up calling the president of Zoom and being like, "Hey, can you fix this for us so we can do that?" And he was like, "Yeah, no problem, I got you." And
I need to check with #Janella. Shout out and see if she was on that call.
Yeah, exactly,
I didn't ask.
That is amazing, to just have that. But then they said that from there is groups of white women who have now gotten reached out to from some of the AKAs and stuff like that, and now they are getting together and.
Wait, say that again.
So some of the AKAs are like, this is what we ended up doing.
Oh, okay.
And then the white ladies are like, oh my God, that's so smart. Can you help us figure out how we can do this?
For their own sororities or just people in general?
So they can get the money in for Kamala. Just getting people together, just getting women together. So they're trying to make sure that it's all about women's empowerment and
Got it.
like taking back your bodies and things like that. So it's like, so we can have all of these women.
Yeah.
If we can get every woman that, like if everybody touches 10 people, then, God only knows how many people you'll end up touching.
Mm-hmm.
So.
In a good way.
Yeah, in a good way. Yeah.
Yeah.
No Diddy. So.
Oh my God.
So with all of that being said, there's so many people who are very excited about her being a candidate, trying to figure out who she's going to pick as her vice president.
Okay.
People are saying Shapiro. Somebody said Buttigieg.
Mm-hmm.
And they only said Buttigieg because they were like, how else can you piss off the Republican Party than to have a black woman of color?
Yeah, a woman of color, right.
And a gay man.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Run the United States.
Yeah. And that could go either way for independents, because it depends on if an independent feels like, the double whammy, maybe I'll just not vote, or maybe I'll, go in the other direction. You never know. But I mean, that would definitely tick people off for sure. Yeah. So,
and I think, what was it? It's like 4 or 5 people that she has, they are saying that she has possibly as who's going to be
possible running mates. And they'll probably announce that at the DNC too. That is in the month of August. Yeah. So, and then they also were saying that she could potentially pick someone who is a senator or governor of a particular swing state.
Oh, okay, that's smart.
So if you pick somebody like Ohio is a swing state, well, I guess Ohio's already done. But anyway, if it's like, I can't even think of which ones they are now, but Iowa or Arizona. Oh, yeah, because the guy Arizona is the one whose wife got shot in the head, and he was the NASA guy. So they were like, it could be somebody like him that so many people but it's a swing state also. Yep, exactly.
I did remember that being a thing. Yeah. But it was like, as long as the person's qualified.
Okay. So just to throw this out there, because I don't know if you are seeing the same things that I am seeing on the
I have.
Al Gore's internet. Yeah. But a lot of people.
You say Al Gore's internet?
I mean, all I'm thinking about is Al Gore and Falling Chads and that whole election and how it was down to like 500 and some odd votes for it to be Bush over Al Gore. So I'm just like, bringing it all full circle. And so. The world.
I want to talk about everything that's happening with the polar ice caps.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, but what I was going to say is that I am seeing a lot of people who are not as happy about it being her, and a lot of them are African American. A lot of people who are saying that she's not African American. She is Jamaican and Indian descent. So she is not somebody who would be for us, and how she had sent people to prison and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, people need to get facts squared away. Like, I don't care if you feel a certain way about somebody. That's not what this is about. But I need you to understand like real facts and information, and not just take what a mouthpiece says about somebody, but like, oh, is that true? Let me look this up and figure this out. I have seen so many things that I'm like, because one person was like saying something and I chimed in because that's just who I am. And I love a good crucial conversation and some conflict from time to time. So therefore I chimed in on this person who literally, the post that the person put, I think it was on Facebook, was like something about, Kamala, and that Biden has stepped down and it's going to be her. And the person was like, she ain't it. That's all the person said. Mm-hmm. And then the original person was like, man, where you been? Oh, it's another election season. I ain't heard from you in 4 years. So now you're showing back up again. Welcome back. It's good to see you. So it's a person who only shows up, only comments when it's election time. And then they are negative in regards to. And come to find out, he and I had so much dialogue. He ended up apologizing to me, first of all.
Wow,
so sweet. Because he's like, look, being a Black Republican, I actually have a lot of trouble. And if I made you feel as though your values and your way of which you have, how you want to vote is wrong, I apologize. That's what he said. So Yes, that's what he told me. Okay. He said he was a black Republican.
Like an independent, maybe,
he said he is a black Republican, and because what it was that whatever he had stated, I was like, oh, okay. No, he said she ain't it, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting that you would say that. I said, for me personally, being a woman of color and having someone who could run for president as a woman of color, that alone could be enough for me. Like, I'm not saying it's enough. I'm just saying it could be, right? Yeah. And he was like, so you just going to allow somebody who looks like you to think that they're going to represent you? And I said, is that what I said? I didn't say that. I said, actually, every politician has their own agenda. No politician can go into office with the expectation of meeting every individual's agenda that votes for them. Yeah. So I was like, no, like this has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the opposition, Project 2025. Like it's just, all of these different things that I'm trying to stand for Americans' rights, the Constitution, just our own, democracy. Yeah. And then I put a little flag behind it because, other sides like to put the flag, and I'm like, hey, I'm an American too. I can put the flag, So anyway, all of these things. So he was like, then he came back and he was like, and I said, plus, I just don't think a felon should be president. That's just me. Yeah. And he was like, so what about all those people wrongfully accused of felonies and stuff? I said, again, you're trying to put words in my mouth. Yeah. This is not about color. This is not about race. I said, to me, I don't care who the person is. I just don't think any felon should be, a president for that matter. But that's just where Lenora stands. Somebody could disagree with that, and that's okay because every single person gets their own opinion and their own vote. And that's what makes it a wonderful democracy, right? And so based on that, I actually, was going back and forth, and he said, you know what? Because I said, you're making a lot of assumptions about me, and I haven't made one about you. Mm-hmm. I said, all I'm telling you about is why I would vote a potential way, right? Mm-hmm. And then I said, also, just as a side note, and I'm going down a whole rabbit hole here, so apologies. But I was just like, also as a side note, I said, what I would prefer for you to do, if you are so inclined, is that you speak to why you are voting the way you are voting. All I shared was what I would potentially do as a voter. Yeah. You're saying, but what about this? But what about that? So you're just trying to be confrontational. Like I'm just saying, this is why I would vote in a way in which I would vote. Mm-hmm. I said, but you're like, well, then what about this? And what about this issue? And aren't you supposed to care about this? And I'm like, but you're not saying why you would vote in a different way based on how that another person would potentially support you or help you or whatever. And so he was like, apologies. I am sorry. You're right. I shouldn't be trying to make you feel the way that people make me feel as a black Republican. So therefore, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. I was like, but just know that just like you can have your opinions, other people can too. And you don't have to come at everybody divisive, and upset, frustrated. Well, what about this? Aren't you supposed to be about this? Aren't you supposed to care about that? And I'm like, but dude, you're not explaining why you care the way you do. I said, now, if you're independently wealthy and you say that, when Republicans are in office, I have amazing tax breaks. Then say that. That's what it is. Just say that. That's what I want. I am wealthy and I want the tax breaks. So that's why I would vote a particular way. Yeah. You might turn some other people in your direction. Who knows? Yeah, but just say something versus when somebody says something, you attack it. And then somebody says something else and you attack that. But you're not stating your case. So anyway, it was a good dialogue. I enjoyed it because that's how I am. Yeah. Maybe I should have been a hashtag attorney. Maybe. Yeah. Point, counterpoint. Right. But anyway, I digress.
Shout out to Mike P.
I know, right? So, but that's kind of some of the, what it is making me realize is the amount of disdain that some people have for women, because it goes back to even Hillary running, and how much disdain people have for women of color and putting things out there that doesn't even matter. Like people are like, oh, well, didn't she date such and such and didn't this happen that? And I'm like, but you have a president who we just literally had a situation where they were seeing if there was hush money involved in a porn star. Like I'm just trying to put things together. If the tables were turned and she was with a porn star, how would that?
So it's like talk show host, porn star.
I don't know. Me no understand. Yeah, that's all I can say. I do not understand. So anyway, sorry to go down a rabbit hole.
You're good. And so another thing that's happening is that Trump is saying that he is upset and that the Democrats did on purpose go ahead and make everything about Joe Biden to then just cancel Joe Biden and put in Kamala Harris. And then that would make the Republicans spend all their money on all this stuff about Joe Biden.
Okay. Regardless, who cares?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if that was the agenda.
Yeah, but then
I think that the difference is that it feels too diabolical. Do you know what I mean? It just feels, maybe diabolical is not the right word, but it almost feels too much like, oh, y'all did the okey doke on us and we weren't ready for this and we weren't prepared for this, because I do feel as though it's more challenging to, you can almost have a very anti-minority, anti-LGBTQ, anti-everything when you're up against another white man, right? It's very difficult to do that and come across not racist if you're against a woman, because like, remember how you hovered around Hillary and things like that.
Yeah.
But then also like just knowing, okay, well, this is going to be a minority woman who's not afraid. Like, I don't think there's an ounce of fear in her, debating him, for example. And then just being able to, articulate and share what it is that she wants to get across as her point, right? But when you had somebody who is an older person like you, who is also a white male like you can kind of throw things out there, and because now they're trying to say she's the DEI, candidate. So it's like, oh, well, she's diversity, equity, inclusion, so that's the only reason he picked her is because she's diverse. And it's like, are you trying to use that as a derogatory term?
So the whole time that she was vice president didn't make her,
she already right, exactly.
Didn't make her qualified. It's just like, no, she's a DEI. Like she's just there just to be there for face. So
there's an opportunity, I guess, for there to be a number of firsts. She was already the first person of color and female as a vice president. Exactly. So now she'll be potentially the first person of color who has a, what do you call it? A first man. Is that what it would be? First husband? Whatever it is, first man, with her husband. And so, we're going to see where it all falls out. And honestly, I'm all about just vote.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter party lines, just vote. Everybody vote. Just, play your part and do what you need to do, because that is the important thing. And, every election is an important election. I think every year, every time it's election time, everybody's like, this is the most important election ever. Yeah. And I think every election is important. So just making sure that you do your part in your American duty if you are old enough and wise enough. Yeah.
Some other things that were happening was that Trump was talking about how Biden was the oldest person to run for the presidency, and now he is the oldest person to run for the presidency. I did see that too. But like, it's just it's kind of like ironic stuff that's happening. Mm-hmm. But he did pick. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say this really quick, that I think part of why they were frustrated about the swap this late in the game is because it was literally right after the RNC, the Republican National Convention, and that he had already picked his vice president. Yeah, exactly. So if he had known what the new dynamic would be, would there have been another decision that was made? And I think that is part of what's throwing a little bit of a wrench into it too. It's like, would this be the same ticket that they would have if it wasn't Biden Harris? Because that's what they were planning for.
So that's another thing that I was going into. So he had picked his vice president, potential vice president, J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance has he has a commercial that he made.
Yeah. Okay.
The commercial starts off, have you been called a racist? Do you hate Mexicans? Okay, first of all, what are you doing, sir?
What is the context of this commercial?
Then it goes into are you getting flack for wanting to build the wall? It goes in from there, and then he starts to then talk about how the people coming across the border were the reason that his mother died. Yes, and that they need to be stopped.
He isn't talking about immigrants, right? Because his wife is an immigrant.
Okay. Wait. Wait. There's more to this. So, what is his wife?
Indian.
Okay, yeah, no, he's not even worried about that. He's worried about the Mexicans because he said, "Are you racist? Have you been called racist? Do you hate Mexicans?" That is the first two things sentences that he says. Yes. So, but then when he starts to talk about how the drugs that come across the border killed his mother, he forgot that he wrote a book, The Hillbilly Elegy.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he forgot that it was a big movie because a lot of people don't read.
Yeah, a lot of people saw the movie.
So
did it have Glenn Close in it? It was like a big, huge movie.
Yeah. So then it's like everybody knows that your mom stole prescription drugs from her patients, and that's how she ended up ODing. So how are you going to say now?
Because people don't know the truth.
Well,
they don't know how to explain the truth. Because
he's already explained it.
But which thing is the truth? Did he fake the story for the book? Or is this, and this is the real story, or is it that he's faking the story now
Either way,
so that he can get the votes?
Yeah. Why you lying, bro? Mm-hmm. So that was another thing, and I believe that some people in Congress and everything were kind of like, this is, like, from the House was like, really, this is what you're going to say. So, and then that also comes off of what you're saying is like, would they have kept him? Or picked him if they
knew that it could be a whole different ticket.
Exactly.
Yep. The world may never know.
The world may never know. But that's all I had basically off of that. There is some body cam footage of the assassination attempt.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
of who?
Once the police are actually on top of the roof talking to whoever was in charge. There was some body cam footage. That,
on top of the roof where the shooter was?
Yes. And they said, like, I think they were standing, like, over his body. And it was like, there's his gun right there and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, this was after the shooting and everything.
Oh, after they shot him.
Yeah. After they shot him and everything.
Because they shot him, like, within less than, I don't even think it was a minute of him doing the shots. Yeah. So, which is weird because if you didn't know where he was or what was happening, then how did you point him out of a crowd so large so fast? But that's another topic for another day.
There's a body cam footage of that. I haven't watched the whole thing. It was kind of long, so I didn't watch the whole thing. But I was just like, okay, I'll watch this later. Oh, okay. That's what I had for that. I do want to just say her name. Sonya Massey. That was very sad about what happened to her. Like,
do you want to explain it if anybody isn't familiar?
So what happened was Sonya Massey had actually called 911 saying that there was somebody outside of her house. So when the police get there, they actually come in the house, talk to her for a while, and then she had water boiling on the stove. I'm giving you the gist of it. I'm not giving you full details.
High level.
Water on the stove. They were talking back and forth, and she was like, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." Dude was like, "I'll shoot you in the face." And she was like, and he pulls his gun out, and then she's like, "I'm sorry." She drops down on the ground, and then she gets shot 3 times in the face.
Which is crazy, because what was she doing that was a threat?
So there's body cam footage about him as well. He actually somebody called in and said it was a self-inflicted wound. They said that they don't know who it is. Quotes.
That what she did a self-inflicted wound?
Yes.
But you're wearing a body camera.
His body camera was off.
Oh.
But
the other person's
was on. His body camera didn't come on until after he shot her.
And then he could say it was self-inflicted, but they don't know if it was him, quote
I don't see how you can self-inflict 3 shots
in
to
your own face. Yeah, exactly. With what weapon?
Yeah. But did you have 3 guns lined up? Because once you take the first shot, there's not going to be a second or a third.
You wouldn't think.
Yeah. So, so from that, it goes into the body cam footage of the partner that was there is so sad because he's just standing there and, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to run out to my car real quick." And then he goes and he opens the trunk of his car and he's like,
oh, you could
and his hands are shaking and everything. He takes his gloves off. He has like this container in the back and he opens up the container and he's just taking wipes out and he's just wiping his hands. And then he's just, like, you see his hands are shaking. You can hear him breathing. He is traumatized. And, like, that is very sad. And then with the killer, he actually says, he calls her a bitch multiple times.
I saw that.
Yeah, he called her a bitch multiple times. He said that she was trying to throw the water into his face.
Right, but she didn't even have the water in her hand.
Yeah, it was not. Yes.
Right, because if it was, then she would have dropped that and scalded herself in addition to getting shot.
Exactly. So it was still on the counter. And then he was saying how she was insane and all this other stuff. And he was like, she was coming at me. But
fired.
Yes, he was fired. He was arrested. But they are going now into a deep dive because that's what people do. The deep dive that people have seen is that since, I don't know, I think since COVID, he's been in 6 different police academies. There's different
Good
police
gracious.
Stations.
So he's a problem child that they just pass from one place to another, potentially.
That's what it sounds like. So,
and why don't we just terminate people who are people carrying guns who don't do right?
Yeah.
I would think if you have to have any disciplinary action as a person who's carrying a gun, you probably are in the wrong profession and we just need to terminate you.
Yeah, I agree. Not terminate like kill, but
terminate like let go. Well, I'm an HR professional, so terminate, your employment. Sorry.
Yeah, let them go.
Yeah.
And that's what they ended up doing because all the body camera footage is out there and he just literally shot this woman in the face. So that
in her own
home after she called them to come and make sure there was nobody around her house.
Exactly. So then why do people feel comfortable calling the police?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, how do you feel comfortable doing it when people, like, even if she had a mental episode, it would still not require somebody to be shot. Exactly. Like, you have to be able to discern and figure out, this is somebody who, if she was, I'm not saying she was, but I was like, if she was mentally, unstable in that moment.
Well, he asked her when he first walked in the house.
Yeah, but
he said, "How's your mental health okay? Why are you?
Yeah, why are you even? Yeah, she
unless it's something that she was constantly calling police and that was a thing. Right. But other than that, I don't see why there would be any reason to do
exactly.
that. Also the killer also called his partner dipshit. He's like, I was with dipshit, so it's like.
He had no remorse, no issues, anything. Just like, it happened.
Yeah, that's what it was. Just pray for the family. Hopefully, sending positive vibes to them, making sure that they're okay. Hopefully justice is served. That was basically what happened to Sonya Massey.
Yeah.
Massey,
yeah. Well,
that's all I have for my hot topics.
I was going to add one more, which was that Bob Newhart passed away as well at the age of 94. He had a long, long career in Hollywood, everything from the Bob Newhart show that was on over 50 years ago. So it started in 1972. So he had he's 94.
94. Okay.
So he had the Bob Newhart show. It's so weird too, because I feel like as long as I've known Bob Newhart, he's been older.
Yeah.
He's always barely had any hair,
he's
the entire
what's his
time.
name? Steve Martin. Wait, Steve Martin?
Steve Martin with the gray?
With the gray hair?
Yeah, but I think he prematurely grayed, I want to say, for Steve Martin.
But he still looked all right.
He was a wild and crazy guy. Morgan Freeman has always been old.
Always been old.
Yeah, never been young. Never been young.
Everybody's
so in his 40s, he looked 80. No, not 80, but he probably looked, in his late 50s. Yeah. And so, but he was in Bob Newhart show. He then had Newhart, which was 82 to 90, which a lot of people remember that show, the Newhart show, because he was he had an inn, and people would come and stay in the hotel or his inn and stuff. He was an elf. So he was hilarious in that. He was in The Big Bang Theory.
Okay, yeah.
So he played, I just remember seeing an episode of him and he was dressed like Obi-Wan Kenobi or something like that. It was hilarious. Yeah. He was in The Librarian. He's been on The Tonight Show multiple times from 1962 till 92. He was just constantly on there.
Betty White had the careers.
Yeah, so many different things that they did and all of that. He was in NCIS. He's been in cartoon movies like The Rescuers with his voice. He was in Legally Blonde 2, Young Sheldon, Desperate Housewives. It just goes on and on and on. And my movie, In and Out.
In and Out, yeah. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like he was...
Murphy Brown.
He was still working... all the way up to his death.
He was working all the way up until I think there's something that hasn't even come out yet that he had as a project. And he was on like a red carpet, like, all those different things.
And that's the thing that they always say, like, the saying is like, once you slow down and you stop working, that's when you're closer to death.
Yeah, so it's like if you're doing what you love.
Yeah, and you keep doing it, then you'll live out, a very happy, healthy life. But then, if you stop, then you'll go downhill.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people are like, I don't want to retire, because once I retire, what do I do then?
My generation won't be able to retire.
I don't know. We shall see. But for Alfred Hitchcock, that was interesting. I used to love watching Alfred Hitchcock Presents and his good evening. He would walk up and you had the silhouette with the belly and his nose and lips all pierced. Yeah. So, but he was on that from 1955 to 65. So he's just been doing things like maybe in the 1950s he looked young. Maybe then, if we saw him on some of those black and whites, then we would say, okay. Then he looked young. But that is...
When color TV came out, he looked old.
Yeah, he was in ER. Like, it's just so many different things that he participated in and was a part of. Mary Tyler Moore, or being Mary Tyler Moore. The Don Rickles Show. He did things with Richard Pryor. So... excuse me, the list goes on and on. So in that note, I just wanted to make sure that, because it was almost like, because with last week, it was so much going on with Richard Simmons and Ruth, Dr. Ruth and all of that, that it was like, oh my gosh, we didn't get a chance to also, I feel like right after that was when news about Bob Newhart came out. So anyway, rest in peace to Bob Newhart as well. So so it's interesting because right now it's like all of the people who are, people that we've known our whole lives now are starting to pass away, and it's like, it's tough, you know what I mean? It's like people like you were like, oh my gosh. I'm getting old. Yeah. And it's like these people that you just assumed like, well, you're getting older, so obviously they're getting older, and the more they're in their 90s and approaching 100, you just know that, things are going to potentially happen. But so anyway.
I did want to go over some box office numbers because it is incredible. Inside Out 2.
Yes.
Total gross, $603.2 million.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And probably still going. It's been out for 6 weeks.
And I think people just wanted to get back into the movies too. I feel like between that and Bad Boys, because I think that made a lot of money too. And I think people are just like, okay, I'm finally ready and feel comfortable enough to get back into the theaters, which I'm glad theaters didn't go under, because at one point, that was a big, huge possibility that it would be like, well, everybody's used to watching things in their home. They may not want to, get a theater, and they'll just buy their sound stick. Yeah.
But also it's like, these are another thing that had Despicable Me 4. Yeah. Has been out for 3 weeks, and it's at $273.3 million. Wow,
the kids just are getting everything.
Yeah, so those are the two top ones. But also the thing is like, it's families.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's perfect timing. Kids are out of school. Yeah. What are you going to do? It's sweltering hot. Yeah. Take them indoors, watch a movie.
Yeah, and then because you can't. I mean, if you're taking your kid, you're buying 2 tickets. Mm-hmm. You and your kid.
Or 3 or 4, right? Exactly.
And then let's say that it's going to be family night, so now your husband or your wife is coming. Yep. So now that could be potentially 6 to 10 tickets, depending on how many kids.
And you could be like, oh, you want to come with your friend, and it's your birthday, and so now we got 10 kids,
and stuff like that. My nieces, my nephews, things like that.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's not even counting the concession stand sales. Exactly. Because that stuff, is so expensive.
But I will say that Twister has just come out. And that total gross right now is at $113.1 million.
Good gracious!
It just came out.
Yeah, like it's been a week, I think, maybe. Yeah, and so and I actually want to see that in a theater.
I want to see it in 4DX.
Oh,
have you seen it?
Oh, where it like spits water at you and stuff.
Okay. So there's a whole thing. That when it's like movie theaters. I don't know where they're at, but they're probably over in the West Coast. Probably.
Yeah, they definitely have those theaters in the West Coast.
And it's like when we went to Flyover. Yeah. It's like you sit in that, it picks you up and everything. but you can cut the water on and off.
Oh.
So it gives you all of the different things. When you
could
walk
get the
in,
wind, you could get the water, you could get whatever, but then you could cut it off if you're too sensory overload with it.
So, but it gives you, right before you go in, it gives you a list of everything that it will do. And like, but it's a lot of moving around because the whole entire chair and everything bounces around while the twister is happening. That is amazing. They need that everywhere.
They do. I wonder how much it costs to open a theater like that. And I know I don't have the money for it, but I'm just like, you know, that we make money hand over fist.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Because just think about every movie. The only thing that I can remember that's close to this that we had was Days of Thunder at King's Dominion.
Yes, there was that.
That was the Days of Thunder ride at King's Dominion. You sat down, they played the movie, and it moved you all around.
And you felt like you were going around the track, and there was an accident, and this is spinning around, and all that kind of stuff.
So I think that is definitely a great idea to do for movies and stuff like that, especially if it's a lot of action and suspense and stuff like that.
And you said it's called 4DX?
I think it's 4DX, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
But that's just what I had about that, because I thought that was kind of cool and amazing when it came to, being able to be, it's like you're in the movie.
Yes, exactly.
Without having to put VR on. Oh my God, if you did it with VR, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Just think about it. You're sitting there. I mean, when I take Michaela to Putt-Putt,
okay,
we do this one little VR thing. And it's like a little ride or whatever, and I feel like I'm there. I'm in there.
Gotcha.
I'm going down into the little cave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming up out of the cave. So that's just some things about.
It says that this is another one. Deadpool probably is something that is going to make a lot of money too. But that is in 4DX and Twisters. See? So yeah, both of those. Twisters plural. Yeah.
Twisters.
Mm-hmm. And and that things that are coming is an Alien, Borderlands. Beetlejuice.
A lot of remakes of movies.
Yeah, a lot of things are going to be coming.
Nothing original, just everything remakes.
Yep. So, all right, everybody. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Sestra-Tainment. We hope everybody has an amazing week. Take care. Bye.